Wanna be carbon copied, so I'm cautious when I'm cocky. Cause niggas jack your swag like a sweatsuit out the swap meet. Lately I've been rebranding, so my unborn seed could have a feast off exactly what we planted.
Sane African production. This is Sane African TV. We doing Ask an African today. We here in Las Vegas, in the Luxor, you know, getting that comedic energy. And I'm here with my good brother. Please, brother, introduce yourself.
I go by Joseph, local artist here, otherwise known by J Capital.
J Capital, my man.
Sir.
I've been waiting on this, brother. I've been waiting on this. Hip hop artist J Capital.
Dig in.
So first, my brother Joseph, who is J Capital?
Well, you know, I'm a native of Las Vegas. I would consider myself a sane African. Just an average, you know what I'm saying, black man that's out here trying to make a way, you know what I mean? Just a man, you know what I mean? That's how I would equate it.
Okay. So with that, we're gonna get to the Sane African later. You done triggered me.
Let's get it.
But we can start that. To you, what is a Sane African? What does Sane African mean to you?
Well, I mean, what it means to me is, you know, someone who knows himself. You know what I mean? If in my world, if you consider black, if you've identified with it, basically biologically, you know what I mean? And from there, you've tried to center yourself with some of those customs and teachings and traditions and things like that. But overall, it's just just a black person in my world. It's a black person who knows himself.
Word. Good looking. Thank you.
Yeah.
So as a brother who knows himself, you're from Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Born and raised?
Yeah.
Tell me, how's Las Vegas produced the black man we see in front of us?
Man.
Like,
well,
what's your story to hear today?
I think all of us who kind of come up here, we all kind of grow up a little fast. I think, you know what I mean. I think, you know, just with the city life, that allure of this kind of nightlife and underworld, kind of you can do whatever you want to do kind of thing is always out there. I think, you know, it was out there for many years. The city's really, to me, not the same like as it used to be. There's a lot more rules, but coming up, I thought we had just a free will, man. It seemed like a free will to just kind of do whatever. It seemed like. But I just felt like growing up fast. But I come from a two-parent household, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had a strong foundation. But without a lot of things that other cities have, you know, you have to find things to do. You know what I mean? And this is a desert landscape, so it's a lot different. You know what I mean? When there's a lot more buildings now and stuff, but we came up playing in dirt, basically. You know what I mean? And just trying to make our way, you know, that way. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So,
okay. So you hit on one thing that I'm very big on, and the you know, two-parent home. I think that's something that's very foundational. You know,
Yeah.
especially for brothers like me and you know,
sure.
black men
Yep.
in these urban areas. So how is having your mother and father? How is that provided foundation for you?
Oh, to me, it was great. I mean, you get especially now, speaking from now, like you get a real understanding of what family is. You know what I mean? What it takes day in and day out to have two different, essentially, personalities, you know, come together, have a family, and raise a family. So I thought, you know, it was a real good learning experience now. Hindsight's always 20/20. You know, coming up, you know, my father was typical father-son, you know, you get to a certain age and you start bucking back and things like that. So, but I think overall it was a good example, especially in this day and age, of having two people make a union, stay together, and raise a family. You know what I mean? So,
Facts. And I remember you joined us, so once thank you
Yeah.
for joining in on the Two Black Parents Challenge.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, because that right there was so, to me, it was just a real powerful moment, you know, because like you said, we don't have that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
so rare to see a mother and father together, and a mother and father who didn't have, sometimes we just have these makeshift families, you know what I mean? And my family is from the root, essentially. So You know what I mean? I just think it's a rare thing that we had. Shout out to my parents too. They recently did just pass, but you know what I mean?
Condolences.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do want to share, yo, that was a beautiful. It was a beautiful picture. You know, like in the for what we did, it was great to see so many black people showcasing their black mother and their black father, and we smiling. You know, as family. And it's so again, thank you for joining in on that. We didn't get much, but for those that did, it's powerful to see. So that. Like I say with my parents, the best thing, even regardless of, you know, like looking at hindsight and bucking, the best thing they did for me was get together and have me. I'm grateful for just that.
Definitely.
You know,
definitely. Life, baby.
Yeah,
Life.
It's powerful.
For sure.
So with that, so what would you say is 2 things that your mother and father left you or gave you that you still hold or cherish to this day?
I definitely got my work ethic from my father. You know, this is a man that went day in and day out, regardless of how he felt. You know, he went to work. He made sure to, you know, provide a way. You know what I mean? And I think, of course, I come from 2 parents that work, so that may or may not have rubbed off on my mom or whatever. But she was kind of the same way. So I would actually take that from both, you know, and say that consistent work ethic and just continuing to get up, provide, you know, stay on it is something that I got. I think I got from my father to be a patient and quiet man and kind of think, you know what I mean? Think about what your brain is essentially receiving, you know what I mean? I picked up just from my father being, you know, again, just really laid back, talking to other people later, just about just how he was, even younger. He's always been just a quiet, you know, individual who only really spoke when he needed to. And I think I picked a lot of that up. And when I'm rhyming, of course, that's a whole nother world. You know what I mean? I guess that would be my release. My rhyming, my artistry, I think, is my mom's side. You know what I mean? Because my mom was a little bit more outgoing, fun-loving, and stuff like that. And I think that's what you kind of got to be an artist anyway. You know, is a little outgoing and stuff like that. So I think I got hard work from them. Of course, I got love from them. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna put them both together. I got love, how to get through conflict resolution. You know, I mean, there's so much you can only imagine with a married couple, married 30 plus years. You know, the types of things that you could, you know, learn and get from that. But I would say hard work, love, you know, conflict resolution. Those are some of the things that I got from both of them.
I agree with you. Like, my parents were divorced, young age, but my dad remarried. So living with him, I was still able to see somewhat of a nuclear family.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, like I tell the young people around me, just what you just said. The best example my dad provided was going to work every day.
Yeah. Because
I seen this is what it takes for us to make a way.
Yeah.
And you know, he didn't speak much, but that's what I tell the young boys, and that's what I've learned in my journey of, if I make sure I go do the work, I'll be okay.
Right.
And you know, like I tell them, the slogan, you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
I mean,
that's
we know what we look like genetically and biologically.
Yeah.
So we gonna have to work, brother.
Hard, y'all.
Work.
Y'all know this.
Right. So yeah. 2 times we're gonna have to work. So that's powerful. Fatherhood.
Yeah.
This is something I think I do want to hit on. Just as brothers, you know, from your father, from being under him, what has Black fatherhood produced for you or given you?
Well, I think that that's kind of deep. I think that we're all, especially, you know, black men. I mean, black people, we're such victims of the system. You know what I mean? Victims of this society and this environment. So I think in a lot of ways, even though I you know, got a lot of those good things from my father, I think a lot about how to be a father and go about that and cultivating your child every day. There may have been some room for improvement there. You know what I mean? I won't lie. I could have maybe gone for some more encouraging words, you know, interactions, things of that nature with my father. But, you know, he was a hard man. He came from a hard generation. You know what I mean? So that's what that was. I think a lot of black men in terms of fatherhood do be trying to figure it out. And given whatever the situation, a lot of times, you know, especially with us now, you know, the courts get involved and things like that, and it just rips everything apart. But I think I got that he was, you know, I feel like he was learning in a lot of ways to try to be a father. You know, he had more girls than boys, so for me and my brother, it was kind of trying to, you know, I felt at times he was just trying to figure out how to connect. You know what I mean? How do I get in line with my boys and stuff like that? And, you know, like I said, typical father-son, it's a fight, you know what I mean? But I think he did a good job. You know, when I look back on it, you know, when I assess it, because I see a lot of people sometimes when their parents pass, they go through, especially now with this victim mentality, we go through this huge list of what, you know, your parents should have gave you and should have done for you and stuff. And I think that when I just, overall, I got my health, I was properly taught right from wrong, you know, and I know how to get it. Like, that is, what else should I be asking a parent to do in that aspect? You know, especially from my end, taking accountability, going for that push to be grown. You know, a lot of us push to be grown before we supposed to be grown. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm no different. So to have that and mix all of that up, I mean, it's a challenge on both ends, man. Fatherhood, you know, and that's why I think that, because my father did have a child before he met my mother, you know, but he still maintained that relationship. But I think whatever went into that, my father made sure to not have to return to that type of situation again, because once he met my mother, it was a wrap. You know what I mean? So I think there was a lesson learned about fatherhood even before meeting my mother, you know, just about the decisions you make and how that could affect you and things like that. So, you know. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, man.
And Moms.
Yeah.
You just said something that made me want to go into this. I guess we're going to talk about black relationships.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, that's what your father just said.
Yeah, buddy.
It's a whole new day in 2021.
New day.
Well, as a black man, what is something that you look for before engaging in relationships? And let me preface this. I ask this because, as myself being a black male advocate, I see that sometimes we are put in a hard position, and that it can be the courts, it can be some of the women we choose, let me say that, choose to engage with, or just our lack of taking accountability when things go this way. So with that, I ask, because we're not victims, as you said, right? We are grown men who make decisions.
Correct.
As you said with your father, that
correct,
we see something that's not going to work for us, and we have to make sure that we lay a foundation for our survival.
Correct.
So, as of right now, what is your opinion on black relationships today, between black men and black women?
Man, I hate to sigh on that one, man, but you know, on the average, it's not that good. You know, I don't think that we know how to just converse with each other, you know, on even the most simple of topics, you know, without it being an argument. I just think that the whole nature of it is not very good. You know what I mean? It's a power trip. It seems like some type of power trip. Who's the smartest? Who's in control? Who's this or that? As long as I'm on top, as long as I feel like I won't be hurt or torn down or whatever type of defense mechanism you could come up with to get that going is, I think, what we got going on right now, and it's pretty bad. It's pretty
Definitely.
bad.
It's like we just two hurt people.
Yeah.
Trying to hurt each other while saying we want healing.
Yeah, and there's triggers too, because we're emotional people, so we put it out there. So you can literally just take a moment to listen to someone, you know, whether however they're posting, whatever they're talking about, you know, if you deal with them personally or whatever, and you can see that baggage. You know, you can hear that baggage. You, in some cases, can feel that baggage off people. Right. You know what I mean? So I think that that's just what we got. What you said, we got a lot of hurt people dealing with hurt people.
So how do you navigate this?
I don't. I don't.
So you like me, huh?
Yeah, I think it's important, especially just for where I'm at in life and what I got going on, what I'm trying to do, to just really focus on myself and get myself to a certain position before I start really putting myself out there in that kind of fashion. But I recognize everything that I'm saying too, and because I recognize that it's just something I totally don't want to deal with. You know what I mean? I think that I'm at an age, you know what I'm saying, being over 35, being 38 exactly on record, that I'm in a particular age bracket where, yeah, you gotta have some understanding. Like you gotta know. Like you gotta know. You should have, at this point with where I'm at, if you're in my peer group, you should be either dealing with or have dealt with all your toxic behavior. That should be something you should already be involved with and figuring out before you enter any type of relationship with anybody. And that's where I'm at. I'm not saying I have a bunch of toxic things. I'm just saying that I recognize some of the things that I need to work on foundationally with myself before I start, throwing myself out there to a woman.
I agree 100% with you. Because like I said, I'll be 33 this year. And I've had like 2 serious relationships in my life, which involve cohabitation. So it's like a lot of things I've learned about myself and about women, and then as well what I see today, which is very different. So I still have things to work on. However, I feel like I am not prepared to deal with somebody else bleeding on me, their trauma, because I don't know how I'm going to respond.
Right.
And it's like everybody does not want to get understanding. Some people just want to be heard.
Right.
And if we can't have a proper communication, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I just think right now, I say that for a lot of black men, it's best that we really work on ourselves right now and get ourselves in position. And then we can figure out what we do want to do. Because like, you hear the saying like life is short. I don't know. Life is very long.
Life is long, y'all. It's long.
Because I'm sure you can remember 21 or something. You be like, damn, I was really doing that long ago, and it's not even a factor no more.
Yeah, facts.
So that's a blessing. What advice would you give to a young brother, say about 21? Just for navigating in this field in 2021, what would be your words?
I would say, get to know yourself. Number one, get to know yourself. If you have things that you aspire to do, this is the time to do those things. At that particular age, you have the energy, the mind frame, the spirit for it. I would say go after those things before you start involving yourself in something serious as a family. You know what I mean? Because these little fleeting moments of pleasure turn into whole families. So I would say do it unlike how you've seen a lot of other people who are your peers do it, who are running to a life that may just pretty much end up nowhere. Right. You know what I mean? Or put you so far behind the 8 ball that you're just digging out of a hole your whole life. So what I would say is that if you're a young brother or even sister out here, what I would say is, whatever you aspire to do and have dreams of, I would say go for that. Make that your center focus, and making sure you are the proper person that needs to be, that's going to end up being with someone later. Make sure you have all that stuff together first.
No, that's powerful, man. Because I'm very strong. I believe in that very strongly. I think I should, like Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, I know you mentioned her, put the camera on.
Yeah, beautiful.
She has a quote, like, black people shouldn't have children until at least they 30.
Yeah, only 2.
Yeah, and I used to think, like, 30 we all think 30 old because we're socialized to having young children. But then I look at now, 30 is a good age because, in a sense, we know ourselves if we have dealt with ourselves. We kind of have a footing on what we don't want to deal with and how to properly communicate when we have issues that are, arguments that come up. So what I've learned, a lot of black men, we kind of X ourselves out early due to the pleasure. Because, we're chasing women or, we out around the town. So a lot of our problems that we inherit that we deal with through life, it happens in our 20s, whether it be going to jail, getting a felony, knocking a woman up, and it may not last. And just on the accountability thing, which is why I say, brothers, we need to really vet these women before going inside of them.
Yeah.
Because you may not even really fully like this woman, but you didn't wear a condom, and now you have this woman. And as a man, you need to take care of this woman and your child. We can't. Child support is a bad thing. Let me throw that out.
Horrible.
Let me throw that out.
I know some brothers.
It destroys us,
Horrible.
yes.
I
And-
seen a brother, just real quick.
Go
I
ahead.
seen a brother one time. I won't mention his name, but he had a really good job, okay? And he put in his time, and I saw his check after he got hit with that child support. And I'm looking dead at this camera. This man put in 80 hours of his life at this place, and his check was about $42
For one child.
one child.
Good Lord.
I mean, they raped him for that. You know what I mean? And that was like, I've never been in that position, thankfully. You know what I mean? Because I've just been smart. But that was such an eye-opening, you know what I mean? Because it was his face, you know, his emotion.
That's a mental
Yeah,
strain.
right. To have all of that work go down the drain, to have not even enough money to really get you back and forth on the bus,
Right.
back to work. You know what I mean? Like, just horrible.
That ain't even like 3 days of food.
I'm telling you, man, it was horrible.
Wow.
Man. Horrible.
So brothers wear condoms.
Yes.
Sisters, I
She
know it
was
feels
right.
good.
Talk.
Tell the brother
Get
put
past
the
the
condom on.
picture.
Right.
That's really what it is. Get past the picture. The picture is always something men do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Get past the picture. That's what I would tell young brothers. Get past the picture. Once you get past the picture, then you can start getting into the meat and potatoes of who this person is.
Right.
Get past the picture.
So before we go to the next one, what's two proper questions that we should ask when engaging, with our counterparts in this society? Because I'm like I said, I think we should hold out. I've learned I don't want to sleep with nobody, and so I don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we get older and we get into this knowledge that we're gonna get into later, we really giving up pieces of ourselves, and it's like, do we really want to do that, or do we want to engage with a person sexually and then come to find out we sleeping with a devil, and that we live, that's our life for us. So what are some two things that you would ask, or you would ask brothers to do, before engaging with women sexually?
Well, because I've jumped out the window too early, in a fun aspect and in a relationship aspect. So I would say, you gotta know what the woman wants. What exactly is she aspiring from? What is she looking to get out of? What are you looking to get out of being with this individual? Are you is she aspiring to be a wife? Is she aspiring to have a family? From there, does she have an idea of what that incorporates? Gain some understanding on the type of union. Your question should be centered around the type of union you want to have with her. Like, that's how I feel. So if you're trying to be with her and really be with her and build a family and things like that, those should be your questions before you sleep with her. Does she want to have children? How does she feel about family? What's her idea of family? Where does she see herself in 5 years? Does she have any of her own personal goals and dreams and things like that to help you better gauge what type of mother she may be, things like that. You want to ask questions that to me bring out her personality, because that's ultimately what's going to raise your child and be a cornerstone in your family. Know yourself, of course, but if we're past all that and that's what you want, then I would start sending my questions from that angle towards her to see how she feels about that and gaining understanding, but get her to talk. The idea is for us to be talking more so we can better understand each other more, so we can have better relationships. That taking that extra time to have that conversation, and I'm speaking from experience, taking that time to have that conversation, you'll end up learning that you'll be better friends. You know what I mean? You'll have a better, just cordial relationship with them than to be trying to have a serious, intimate relationship with them.
Right.
But you don't knock each other down. You don't end up hating each other on the way to that.
Right.
Sometimes it's just, oh, if I can't have a relationship with you, I totally hate you. I don't want to deal with you. I don't talk to you. Da, da, da. And it's like, where did we just have this all or nothing thing? With not every woman likes me. Not every, man likes her.
Right.
What is this? We gotta find better reasons. Just better reasons.
No, I agree. You give me a flashback of last year.
Yeah. Hate to take you back there, man.
It's all good. It's growing thing, because I'm big on conversation, and then we kind of find out that I guess we should, if we spend all this time together and something does go south, we shouldn't hate each other.
Yeah.
You shouldn't resent me. We been having sex, doing this, spending time, all this. So it's like something had to go wrong that is not being communicated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with society and with social media, it shows that people think they can just go get anything.
Right.
But it's like it don't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us, we kind of confuse lust with attraction.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we not selling ourselves, and we definitely not selling nobody nothing.
Yeah, and I would say that too about women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we know as men, she may diss me, and there's another 10 so that option, it keeps getting fed to her.
Right.
That this is, everybody's replaceable. Everybody's this. Nobody is here to stay. Everybody's temporary.
Right.
And it creates to me, it just creates a mentality where, okay, I'm liked, and then that moves into I don't need you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then,
Shout out to Kevin Samuels.
yeah, and from that, because he that's something that he does. He points out that fact that women, in a lot of ways, in general, look at us as just disposable people. We're just disposable people. It doesn't matter. For every one of you, there's another 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's in my DM saying the same thing you would say, willing to do the same thing, on down the board. And that's where those conversations, to what you're saying, are important, because that helps you identify those differences from man to man, woman to woman, who's of quality, who's not of quality.
Right.
You have to be able to talk to somebody, because there's enough pretty people in the world, or attractive people, or people you're attracted to, or she's attracted to, whatever. But you have to have those conversations to help really split that difference on who's quality for you and who's not quality for you.
No, that's facts. Because I would share one of my exes, like that. She made a comment to me one day. She had a good face. I always told her, you had a nice face. You African, you look good. We get it. But these people that you trying to say, well, these other dudes, they don't know you.
Right.
They just see you in the picture.
Right.
I know you.
Right.
I sleep with you. I sleep next to you every night.
Right.
I know some things you don't like to pick up.
Right.
So
right.
it's like we have to be realistic about what's out here. So I agree with you.
Don't fall for the attention. Attention is not what it's supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because everything can be measured to quality.
Yes.
So even if you're talking about, because I experienced that in personal experience, I experienced, who I was with, really talking about attention, because I was a person who worked a lot. And had interest in other places, music, things like that. So, my time, it was spread thin, and I take accountability for that. But I will say that, I guess in my defense, it's the quality of the time that I'm spending. The things, if I'm out there just fucking off in the world, then I almost get your point.
Right.
But if I'm building musically, if I'm at a 9-to-5, which I pay bills and things like that, the quality of my time being spread thin is what you should be looking at. Well, what is he doing in replacement of not spending that time with me?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that became a thing where I didn't communicate that well enough from a man's point of view to really drive home the point that this is what men do.
Right.
We work. We provide, we do this, right? So this is not a stop being so 2000 with me and everything's got to be I'm on you every 5 minutes and da-da-da-da-da, because that's just not realistic in the condition that we're in. We're in a state where I'm not a millionaire, you're not a millionaire, we're not billionaires together, so we got to build it, you know what I mean? And so time is going to be sacrificed. Time gets sacrificed with you, I sacrifice that time with you as well. You know what I mean? So it's all about quality, it's all about having those proper conversations to really find out if you're dealing with a quality individual. That's what it's about.
That's facts, man. That's facts. Yeah, we can leave that.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
But keep love in your heart, though.
Yes,
I would
always.
say that. I would say that.
And keep looking for understanding. That's all we're looking
Facts,
for.
man.
Conversation is the best
Black
understanding.
Black love, black families over everything.
All day. Okay, so we're gonna get back to the serious part a little later.
Let's get it.
This is my all right. Now I'm ready for this.
All right.
we got Jay
Yeah,
Capital in
just-
the building, baby.
Yeah.
So the music.
Yes.
I guess before I go, I want to say I'm a fan.
Thank you.
You feel me? Because even when I met you, I didn't. You said you did music, but I didn't hear nothing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you sent me something or I just found it that I was looking because you posted something.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I can get with this. Like I didn't know he was rapping like this. Like.
Yeah.
So I want to say, brother, I'm a fan of your work.
Thank you.
It's some shit that I actually enjoy. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't promote it.
Yeah, facts.
I would not promote it. Actually, I put a lot of music on my page that I'm just listening to.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you in my rotation.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I appreciate the message that you put in your music.
And we listen to a lot of the same stuff,
we
man.
do.
So that means a lot. Yeah.
Oh no,
For sure.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I just
Appreciate
love to
it.
see brothers, putting their art up on the wall and letting the world receive it.
Facts.
So I say thank you for putting out music that's not no nigga shit.
Yeah.
Like to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
it's my
but
pleasure.
with that, what got you started in writing bars?
Woo, man. We was hip hop kids, man. Hip hop is like planet Earth right
Facts.
now. You know what I mean? It's so our world and what we grew up in, and that's just where it came from. Literally just listening to hip hop all day long. And I'm a part of that golden age era, or I consider it maybe the third golden era. The first would be the beginning of hip hop. The second would be that kind of late 80s to, maybe mid 90s.
Pay them for the Illmatic song, yeah.
And then from, the late 90s, early 2000s on, maybe cutting off at like 2010 or something. It's like the third golden era to me.
Okay.
So when I'm like really, really, really putting it in my head is that 98 on, you know what I mean? From right around then on, hip hop is just, in our world, heavy. And from all angles.
Not to cut you, 96 and 98.
Yeah.
Classics,
Yeah.
bro. Classics.
Just everybody's dropping, everybody's hot, from X to J, Wayne. Everybody who turned out to be GOATs, that was like the beginning of those GOATs, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the beginning of the Waynes, the X's, the J's. Nas maybe a little bit before, but Nas, that's his
shit.
He's right in there too. So like all of you guys' GOATs of today, man, was who we was listening to on a regular. They was the Drakes and the Migos and all of these guys, the Lil Pumps, all these guys that you hear now, who those guys were as far as like the industry was. That's who we got. So we got nothing but classics all day long. Just great hip hop all the way across the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the spark that made you put the pen to the paper?
Shout out to my boy, rest in peace, Patient. He was my first producer, and my other partner, Judah. We started to write rhymes. He was just making beats.
Okay.
I wrote a rhyme, and I wish I knew what it was. But I think I just got word that a homeboy of mine got one of my old notebooks, and it may be in there. When I get with him, I'm gonna see. But I wrote a rhyme. I forget what the rhyme was about, but they had both told me that rhyming seemed natural. You know what I mean? And from that point, I just started just writing rhymes. Just that's it. I wasn't thinking about having a career. I wasn't thinking about no studio or nothing. We was just rhyming. On the weekends, you get together, just throwing beats, freestyle for hours, whatever. That's just what I did for years. The majority of the time I've been writing, that's all I've been doing. I wasn't thinking about being an artist at all. I had people who were before me that I was homeboys with, they was getting into it and doing that type of stuff. I'm just around in the environment, in the world. It did not really dawn on me until much later that, yeah, you could be an artist too. You know what I'm saying? I just like to rhyme.
Right.
That was it. That's where it started.
Okay, thank you. Who would you say is your influences? I'm
Well,
gonna get you top 10
the
later, so I'm asking influences.
Okay. So, hip hop influences?
Music.
Man. I mean, well, music across the board. I mean, I listen to a lot of Michael Jackson, Prince, old school stuff, from everything from the Isleys to Commodores. When you talk about hip hop, first hip hop CD I ever bought, Busta Rhymes The Coming.
Wow.
Yeah, that first one. So Busta Rhymes was like first early influence. I think what it was with Busta was that it was his loud style. You know what I mean? I don't think at that time I really understood like bars or anything. But I was just amazed at his style. Like it just threw me off. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen him rock a stage?
No, but I've seen plenty of YouTube video, and he is one of the best.
I seen him at
I think
Rock
Tech
the
Nine
Bells.
got it over everybody though.
He was there too.
Was he?
Yeah, at Rock the Bells. I think 09.
Oh man.
Oh 08. It was Rock the
I'm
Bells.
gonna look that
08.
up because that concert should be up there somewhere.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, but that's the first time I seen Tech Nine. Busta
yeah.
Rhymes killed that shit. It wasn't even a set.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then Big Boy followed him. Big Boy couldn't follow him. But
Big Boy from Outkast?
Yeah.
Was he by himself?
He was by himself.
Yeah.
He was with Sleepy Brown and I think somebody else. But yeah, like Chris Rock was saying, I'm gonna let you go. Like on his last album, you can't follow Busta Rhymes.
Nah, you can't.
You can't. You can't. That nigga, he know how to run the stage.
Yeah.
But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, Busta is something totally different. He has the type of stage presence and command of the crowd. MC shit. That's what an MC is.
MC
you know what I'm
means
saying?
moving
Excuse my
crowd.
language, but MC. That's what an MC does. You know, they can control that crowd and rock that crowd. That's what they do. And Busta Rhymes is one of the best, man. One of the best.
So, but before we go, what is an MC to you?
Just that, someone who can, but there's an extra to it. Someone who actually really can command the crowd. You know, really can get the crowd involved with what they're doing. Has a great stage presence. But then, you know, I think as hip hop grew, you gotta be able to rhyme. You know what I mean? I think you gotta be able to rhyme a little bit. Write your own rhymes. I don't know where all this other stuff came from, but you know, you're not in the conversation ever about the greatest if you don't write your rhymes. Like,
I agree.
That's just, it's a hip hop rule. I don't know, you know, young boys, you know, hey, it is what it is, get your bread, whatever, but in terms of the game, you gotta write it. You
Write
know?
your rhymes.
But ultimately someone who could just, you know, rock the crowd.
Okay. So now the flip. What's the difference between an MC and a rapper?
Rapper is solely in it for the money. They have no real love for the culture, and it comes out in their music, because normally what happens is who they are to what they're saying doesn't match, and that's usually a good indicator of a rapper over an MC. An MC is comfortable being themselves. An MC makes their marker off of being themselves. The crowd is only responding because they are themselves, and this is what it is. Rappers have no love for the culture, in my opinion. They can, because again, if you can make words rhyme, then supposedly you could do this, but that's not it. Okay, it's a little bit deeper than that, and there's levels to it. So I can shoot a basketball, but does that make me Michael Jordan? No. So it's the same kind of comparison. I would be a rapper in the basketball world compared to an MC that is a LeBron or or like a Michael Jordan in that
Okay.
sense. So you could clearly see a love for the game that would be different from someone like me who can go to the street and play wherever, and someone who's doing this professionally or, you know, really aspire to be someone great at it and really be good at the game, you know, and that's the difference between an MC and a rapper.
So like having a love for the craft.
Yep, always.
Okay, and that's true, you know, because I think a lot of people, we think of hip hop, the guys these days, they just think of rap. And it's like, rap is just one element. You know, where's the elements?
Yeah, gotta know the elements, you know, gotta know the history. It's another thing that we came up with that just really has been torn apart, and the history of it, the idea of it, what it's supposed to be, blah, 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 as just giving way to corporate interests at the end of the day.
True. And before we get into your album and stuff like that, just your take now. How is the industry? What is the industry to you? Do you think I kind of think the industry is dead. And just some background of when I was working with Sig and some other groups.
Shout out Sig.
Shout out to the Signature.
Yeah, we gonna get it together, brother.
Hell yeah, mental rich entertainment all day.
Yep.
We was doing things and we just seen a lot. Trying to get a deal, things you gotta do to get a deal. And it was like, this not working. And it was probably like 2000. When I bowed out, I had to stop because I had some issues that came up. Racism, white supremacy.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah, so it was like 2013. 2014, I had to pull out. But it's just like, a lot of the homosexuality, the little dudes being promoted,
fake gangsters. Fake
Nobody wants to.
MCs.
What really killed it for me, I can't lie. I used to go back and forth with Signature about this all the time. Like, I told them, stop putting out free music. Because what I learned, mixtapes killed the industry.
Yeah.
It killed the craft and I was telling them, the rappers had desensitized the listeners into just downloading free music. So now, and we seen it. Like, we seen it with Ludacris, we seen it with 2 Chainz, Nas. I was thinking about the other day, Nas ain't went gold probably since, I want to say like Godson.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So it's like now when they finally, they give away so many music, when you finally got your album, people are like, I'm not buying that. You gave me everything else for free.
Right.
So do you think now of people just owning their music and owning their craft, putting out themselves, that's more beneficial?
Yeah, I think you gotta own it and control your narrative as an artist. I think that is, I agree. I think that killed it too. And it put us in a real state of what do you do? A lot of people don't know because they only just see the videos and they see the music and stuff, but just, a quick rundown, and artists know the marketing is out of your pocket. The studio is out of your pocket. The beat is out of your pocket. Everything. That all costs. So and I'll just give y'all a quick perspective. So let's just say studio is $150. Your beat is another $100. Okay? To get it mixed and mastered, let's just say another $200. Okay, so you're looking at $500 just to get the song made, to turn around and sell it for $1. To a consumer market that only wants it for free.
Right.
So that is the challenge of making money in a lot of ways with music, man. But I think that the ones who just will prevail will always be the ones who just, again, have a love for the culture. You gotta have a love for it, because that will keep it going. But yeah, the mixtape thing just brought in the floodgates of rappers, not MCs, real just rappers, and anybody who could put a couple words together, find a similar cadence, and you're out of there. You know what I mean? And that really killed the game.
With a trap beat,
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do the album after. Who's your top 10? Who is, or would you? I'll give you top 10 because top 5 might be too little.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so maybe no particular order, okay? Because I don't want to go no order because I interchange these guys. but top is Big and Pac. Now, because I like rap, so I like the passion of Pac, but I like the bars of Biggie. So that's why it's always 1 and 2. If I'm emotional, I'm listening to Pac. If I'm really in my hip hop, Biggie. From there, man, who do I? Busta is there. Nas is there, and the reason why I like Nas, okay, is because Nas, there's not a lot of music of Nas for how long his career is gone. I like the way he released the music for what he did, you know, because it gave each time that I got with him a moment to really like just sit with him, you know, for a long time. It had been so long since I heard from him that I'm sitting with this.
Right. Before, I'm gonna inject on that. I agree. That's why I love Nas. Him and Ice Cube is my top 2. They interchange, but I like that he takes a year or 2 off, you know, between albums to live and get experience, and then he comes back and write about it, opposed to like a Rick Ross.
Yeah.
Like I had to tune out like after Teflon Don, because it's like when you drop albums every year, you're not really talking about the same thing. I think the only person who actually did that well was Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Because he elevated something all the time. And another good example as well is DJ Quick.
Yeah.
Every album he put out with, it was a new sound.
Yeah.
And a new feeling.
Yeah.
And I think like him and Nas and Jay, they did that very well. But
yeah,
continue.
for sure. You know, Jay's on that list too.
Okay.
Cube is on that list too.
Yeah.
So we got so far Nas, or we got Pac, Biggie, Nas, Jay, Cube. That's 5.
Busta, that's 6.
Busta, 6. What else did I really? You know, Helter Skelter. I'm gonna throw this one in there.
Okay.
Helter Skelter, for some reason, man. I went back and I like really listened to a lot of that stuff. I like the duo. You know what I mean? Just I want to throw a group in there, you know, and I think Helter Skelter is one of those groups that I just thought did everything. They gave you something to live on. It could be hardcore and it could be real MC heavy too. You know what I'm saying? So I like them too. That I'm gonna throw them in there.
Okay. Got 2 left.
Let's see. Gosh, there's so many artists, man, that I've listened to. Gosh. Man, even though he going through a lot of stuff like recently with all that BS, I don't know what's going on with him. I liked T.I.'s run initially. I liked his run initially. I thought he did a really good job.
He did. Okay.
10, round out 10. Just because it's coming up, I think on the anniversary, I'm gonna give it to Nipsey. Yeah, I thought where Nipsey was going as an artist, I thought he was in a good space as an artist. I listened to Victory Lap, you know, and I thought he had a good balance for what he was. You know, I seen a lot there. You know what I mean, as far as him having a certain level of understanding of society, him being in the particular position he was in as someone of some status, and then his background, trying to mix all that together was, I thought maybe if maybe given a little bit more time, he may have gotten it right in a way that I think maybe Pac didn't. You know, I would go that far.
Okay.
Because I think Pac maybe in the world of like gang banging was around at such a volatile time in gang banging. You know, gang banging has always been very, very volatile and violent, but I just think the world, that early 90s and how banging was and stuff back there was just a totally different climate than what I think Nipsey had. But I think Nipsey, as far as connecting with the people and giving people an understanding of all of those worlds, I think that he was doing a really good job and was going in a real good direction. So I give him 10. I give him 10. But that first 5, when y'all play this back, that first 5 is like where I'm at. That's where I'm at. You know, keep it with the goats, man.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you with Pac. I think, I think he made. I think he went backwards.
Yeah.
With the banging shit, cause it's.
I think he did.
The growth. Like I was young when he died, but I still remember. But I mean, just looking at it now in the music, it was crazy how he evolved in those 6 years.
Yeah.
From strictly from my niggas to Machiavelli.
Yeah.
And I think Machiavelli, he hit his zenith.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really hit his zenith, and you can hear it. Like White Man's World, Life of an Outlaw. What's the one with Lady of Rage? About the gun.
Me and my girlfriend.
Me and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know he rapping about the damn gun. When I was a kid, I'm just thinking about the girl.
Yeah, very creative. Yeah.
But I love, as what you said, because I was playing this a lot when I was over in Africa, and it was very soothing. But I love his last shot to the world against all odds.
Yeah.
Pure emotion.
Yeah.
Pure aggression.
Yeah.
Like he was, and I like that.
Very dope.
Nigga touch me, I'm gonna get back. Like
yeah, he went in, man. That's ideally like when you talk about that passion and that spirit and that love for the culture and it being you and all being fused together. You know, that's an MC. You know that moment, man. You know, there's so many Pac moments that I can think of that I wish I was just a fly on the wall in the studio. But that particular track there. That mind frame, that passion, that session, I would have loved to have been a part of that.
He let it out, and I was just like, God damn, he was mad, but I get it. Like he said, I ain't say nothing last 2 hours. I got my money right. Yeah. I'm ready to go to war.
Yeah. He was dead serious too, and I think that that was where I think he was just really finally understanding it and really getting ready to probably put it together, you know, because I think he realized the mistake he made involving himself too much in the gang culture. You know what I mean? Us being on the West Coast, you know that's a slippery slope. When you start, you're gone. You know what I mean? So I think that it got him ultimately. But I think what he left, to what you're saying, what he left at least gave me, you know, a good peace of mind that he had at least a good grasp of what it was, and he was gonna make that change.
Yeah, and I agree. I think he just all through his discography, he just showcases the very different sides of black men.
Yeah.
You know, you may label me a thug or something, but I can write something for the ladies. I can write something for. We was talking about the Asian thing, Natasha Harlem.
Yeah.
I can write some. You know, some gangster shit, and I can do a whole gangster party, like All Eyes on Me. So I think he just showed the different facets of, you know, a black man and just how we can lay it out, but still be ourselves.
Yeah, he showed how complex we are as individuals, as a people. I mean, all his emotions is just black people in general.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He went through it all. Like, you know, how do you express the Brenda have a baby? You know, that's a real thing in our community, and not a lot of people know to what extent, but that's a great, you know, our babies being abandoned and things, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, in our community. And to express that in the early 90s, you know what I mean? And then moving on to those other things, that's us.
Yeah.
In a, you know.
That's the growth of us.
Right, in a whole package, that's all of us.
Okay. So speaking of growth, we're gonna get to the good part.
Yeah.
Maturation.
Yeah.
Explain, brother. You got the
long
outcome.
awaited, man. Long awaited.
Okay.
As I was growing as a person, you know, I knew that as an artist, and again, I you know, people have to understand that I've never been one of those artists who have been considered ratchet or gangster or even conscious. You know what I mean? I've just been a solid artist. I say certain things. You know, there may be a message in it. I'm lyrical. I can, you know, this is just what I've heard about myself. So I didn't really sit in any box, but I did realize that as I was maturing as an artist, that there were topics, concepts, things like that I just no longer had the patience for, no longer wanted to talk about. You know, when you're a part of hip hop and you're an artist too, you're seeing what the overall picture is. So I'm seeing some of the stuff that we're talking about, you know, about how the game has changed, how the artistry itself seems to be going backwards and things like that. So it was a point for me to just mature as an artist, you know, and have that come out in the music, you know. So not be afraid to just talk about things that are just relatable to what is going on in as a more mature artist.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So with the album coming, how was the process creating this album?
The process sucks, you know what I mean? I'll be honest. The process is not. I don't like the process necessarily because, again, you know, we're in a faster world, but things don't necessarily move that fast. You know what I mean? So I'm not in the studio as often as I make the music. You know what I mean? So I'm essentially kind of over it even before I record it to a good extent, and that's kind of what has happened with this maturation project. It got laid out and recorded, you know what I mean, but now it's just the technical side, you know. It's a mixing thing, it's all of this type of stuff, and you know, I've said before that early on I did a lot of this stuff. I did a lot of beat making, and you know, but I got out of that, you know what I mean, because again, I'm transitioning, and the only thing I really want to do as an artist is just make the music. So I am relying on other people and other situations and things to happen in order for me to get the music back. So the process, it's fun making it in the moment, but I think it quickly changes once it's done. And then you get into the process of trying to get it out to the people. Then you realize, okay, this is all the technical stuff we got to go through. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what can we expect from this album?
Well, I think that it won't be as many, if you want to say like fun tracks, if you want to say. I did a collab project prior to this, and I didn't really care too much about the content. You know, I wanted to keep it at home, you know, with myself and not go way out. But as far as like consciously, I want to like talk about a subject or do this, do that. You know, it was just about working with other artists. So this one, I'm consciously wanting to actually talk about certain things and bring, you know, just address certain things. You know,
Okay.
either personally or just with the world, whatever, just in that realm.
Okay, cool. So we go on some of the tracks that I've heard, and just give me your take on, you know, the process of them.
Sure.
One of my favorites, I ain't gonna front, Self-Preservation. I love and the other dude was
Ian Sean. Shout out Ian Sean.
I like his verse too. I like that y'all preface it with Dame Dash.
Yeah.
And you know, just talk to my take, and you can tell me your take. It was just like it just spoke about independence and doing our own thing, but having the confidence in yourself, you know, to make that trek.
Yeah.
You know, so what's self-preservation?
Yeah, that's really what it was about. I mean, I had, man, we go so long in this game without getting information about the things we need for ownership and
Damn me on to something. These crackers taking everything and leaving us with nothing.
The man, they can't do shit without a manager. It's like Get Out, getting spoon-fed by your handlers. You being masquerades, I be thinking
as
massacre.
I was getting the game, you know what I mean? I can't even express to you guys how much music I could have put in position to have monetary value or ownership, you know what I mean? And I didn't do that because I didn't know, you know what I mean? Then when you do know, you realize the hurdles that it takes to get that stuff done. So the whole game, the music game, to me is like built to screw the artists. Like they do the work, but a lot of other people, you just get the accolades, but you don't really get the real game from the work that you put in.
Right.
So with self-preservation, it was me recognizing that, looking at hip hop, but then trying to think about myself personally. So I make references to thinking about the idea of feeding my family just with a pen and a notepad. You know what I mean? Like preserving myself that way, preserving my family that way.
Is that the one? I'm confused. Is that the one that starts? I don't want to be a carbon copy, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's my shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that one, and then I kind of move in. So self-preservation really, from my end, is just about preserving yourself as an MC. I talk about, again, having your publishing and keeping your ownership and preserving yourself that way. Feeding your family, preserving yourself that way through the artistry. And then I make like a Kanye reference and things like that, just to, kind of take the social path, with him being someone that really flip-flops, depending on the day, on whether he with us or not with us. So, you know what I mean? So that was what that line was really finding, that answer that he's talking about at that Sunday service that he was doing. That's what that line was about. This is something, that's why it's self-preservation. That answer is in you.
Okay. So thank you.
And maturation too, you can look for that, to that Dame Dash thing. There's gonna be a lot of that. It's gonna be a lot of in-between clips of verses from different places, people, and stuff like that. So you can expect that on this album, to where maybe a bridge or a hook would be. There will be some bridges and hooks, but for where that stuff would be, there's gonna be some audio there in order to bring this message, because
that's hip hop.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to one of my homeboys the other day, and we just talking about now, like, people got 2-minute songs. Like, how the hell are you making 2-minute songs?
Yeah,
like, where's the 3/16s, and then where's the chorus?
That is one of the biggest adjustments I had to make, because I'm used to that format. Right. 4.5, 5-minute songs, 3.5,
right.
And to have this 24, 36 bar deal with a bridge and a hook and we're out of there.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're only 2 minutes now. You know what I mean? So that's why I tell people, like, if you've been rhyming for a while, the format of how it is today, it's in, like, when I told people, I came up with a bunch of stuff, but it's because you only need 2 minutes from me now. Right. You only need 20 bars now. You only need, I don't have to give you all of this no more. So,
and I like how you put that in there, because this is in our conversation too. When I was building with the brother, just the old feeling of rapping on break beats,
right?
No hooks,
right?
You feel me? It's talking between the hook, or it's just a break beat, and then like Ice Cube was a big one. Throw the break beat, I'm back on track, rocking the mic, and it's like I miss that.
Yeah.
So even listening to you and you saying you're gonna have that, just having the intros on there, it speaks, because it brings back that feeling from that era.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you don't always need a hook. You could just get a beat, something that comes with the message, and we're gonna kick this shit right back off as soon as the bridge is over. Or even bridges. You don't hear bridges in music no more. Like, where's the bridge?
There's there's no format, but none of it has to go anywhere. Right. You know what I mean? So my kind of blueprint is, I like to take a new age sound. My style, I feel, is from that golden age, so that's that kind of mix, and then we add little things like that to keep the culture and the elements together. I've had DJs come in and scratch in between verses and things like that. Like, I'm gonna bring I like to incorporate all of that. So new age sound, old school artistry.
Okay, thank you, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, fans out here.
It's my pleasure.
We need that feeling in that era.
Man, I'm trying to get it, man.
And before to close out on the album, what are some other tracks that we should look forward for when it does drop?
Yeah, I got one that's coming out soon called Illusions. I just put the cover art up for that one. That's the whole Illusion So Grand. This is gonna be, I'm taking a shot at 2 goats on that one. But I think y'all will get where I'm coming from with that. I got that lined up, and then I just dropped a track called 2 Cents. That to me is that format that we were just talking about, as far as just laying it out as one whole verse. But 2 cents, I wanted to try to show that growth as far as putting knowledge in the music, but then also keep these Vegas roots. So I made some mentions. So when you go through that 2 Cents track, you'll see kind of 2 different mentalities in there. But I try to mesh it together to just show who I am as a person. But Illusions is coming, and and Fault Lines is coming, or BB Fahodier, that one's coming. So Illusions, Illusions is more straight through. Fault Lines is more of a turn up deal. So that's the one that specifically I'm trying to take the message with the new age sound and really fuse it, you know. And you got a little peep of it, so you know what I'm saying. I love it. I think we got something good there. But overall, man, for me as an artist, just look for me to put something in the music to live on, because that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'm about trying to put something out there to live on for not only myself and peer groups, but younger people, and just make being that real lyricist, someone who says something, artist, cool again. It doesn't always have to be about being rich and the theatrics in the show and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right. We regular people going to work every day.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it, man. You know what I mean? I just happen to have this talent.
Right.
That's it. You know what I mean? That's really what it is.
That's right. Oh yeah. So the food in the music. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you have a lot of references toward Amos Wilson, mm-hmm. Dame Dash, mm-hmm. Neely Fuller, mm-hmm. Just Nat Turner. I think that was on one track you was talking about Nat Turner. Yeah, so I was listening. The knowledge. Yeah. What sparked this knowledge, in you, and what made you decide to put it in the music?
Yeah, as I was getting the knowledge myself, man, and I hit this maturation point, I really was really inspired to start to put this stuff into the music, man. As an African man, and really realizing the examples we have out here, I should say lack thereof, you know what I mean, of examples that we have out here. That was my focus, making sure that I was that representation in this hip hop entertainment world and being able to say something, because I even personally took for granted the lack of examples. I didn't equate that like I should have. I thought we had more examples than we did, and that was a lot of maybe to what Amos had said about us realizing once we figure out what the job is, saying that we don't want the job. You know what I mean? Realizing the task at hand. You know what I mean? A little bit in denial maybe on my part. But once I became comfortable with it, and I seen that, no, actually you can bend it. Like, music is such a world that you can bend. You know what I mean? That I became like really, really, really just focused on making sure that I was that guy who got known for this, and put that in the music and made it cool again, and was really influenced by that. You know what I mean? Because it's on my heart, man. You know what I mean? When the information got to me, man, I can't, like I said, like I was telling you earlier, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. Like, I couldn't believe that this was the world. You know what I'm saying? And as I understand it more, man, I want it more. I want it in the music more. I want to be helpful in this respect more, you know what I mean, and be a good representation out here, you know what I mean, because the hip-hop community needs it. Y'all know the hip-hop community needs it, you know what I mean. We don't have a lot of good examples, and just to do that is enough for me.
We thank you.
Yeah, man.
So I'll say who, I should bring up Amos and them, out of just our scholars, mm-hmm. Who was, shining a bright light, in your journey?
Yeah. I think, like you said, Amos is right up there. John Henry Clark, like, I really like history, you know what I mean? Before all of this and getting on with my family and what I spoke to about my parents and stuff earlier, I was already asking questions about my family history, doing the family tree, trying to see, where we come from, get as many questions answered about our past as possible. So John Henry Clark, and how he talked about history really resonated with me. I understand it's like, maybe it's a Capricorn thing, I'm a Capricorn too. So, but his lectures and just breaking down points and periods of time and how that went, and migrations and things like that, and how, Africa was invaded, it really resonated with me. But what gave it context really was Amos Wilson. Amos Wilson allowed me to understand how I take that information and do something with it today. You know what I mean? How do I get involved in this? Like, what do you do? And that's that concept of nation building and what that looks like and how it tangibly looks. You know what I mean? Because I consider myself a good worker, a good team player. Like, but I may not always coach. Like, what's the play? You know what I mean? Like, I need to know the play. You know, you could have me run my route, but I'm gonna run wherever I want to run, and you may not want me to do that. So, you know what I mean? I think just in a community team aspect, once I got an understanding of the playbook and got a basic understanding of the plays we're running here as Africans, what we are doing out here, what we are doing, all this talking and community work and building for. Once I understood that, then I said, all right, hip hop. That's how I could affect and do my job with this through what I do best, which is hip hop. You know what I mean? So John Henry Clark gave me an appreciation for history. Dr. Amos gave it context and what I was supposed to do with the information. What am I supposed to do with it? So yeah, that's where that came from for sure.
Okay, so them your two big hitters.
Yeah, those are the two main ones that I probably listen to the most. You know, when after I met you, I really got back into Dr. Collins. Like, okay, man, his mic skills, A1, the best talker, if you want to say the best talker, I would say out of all of us. And I've heard a lot of them. Malcolm, even John, even the ones I referenced. These guys are beautiful. Even our women too.
Yes.
But boy, he is like that guy. If we had a president to like address the union, it should be him. You know what I mean? Like, he said it and said it how it's supposed to be said.
Facts.
Yeah.
And since we recording, I always gotta say this: put some respect on Baba's name.
Yeah.
KHALLID. 2 L's.
Yeah,
Put
2
some
L's.
respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. Baba was the greatest.
Yeah.
I used to think one man was close to him. I'm not gonna mention his name because I'm gonna disrespect him, but not anymore. I was about to say his name.
Yeah.
I cut that out. But Baba Khalid, that's where I got my control from.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm big on language, and he had a quote: "Strong language for strong ties." It's like I can't remember it. I use basically he uses language to incite people.
Yeah.
Because strong words is gonna provoke strong emotion.
Yeah.
And he used to be on that mic cutting through.
Yeah.
Man, much respect to Dr. Khalid Abu Muhammad.
He could speak it too, man, and really identify. He spoke to so many different worlds.
Right.
The way he could pin it together and get you to understand, like, he literally was going through our entire community. Like, the elder would get it, spoke that language, the adult on down to the adolescent. Like, he could literally give you examples throughout his entire speech that could resonate with everybody.
Facts. And I like that one thing I always take from him, he greeted everybody in their language. He come on, peace, shalom, hotel, Abi Bakahudi, Islam for the Moors, peace, you feel me? So I said shalom, and then you got the other people, it's like the Hebrews, Nation of Islam, Assalamu alaikum, and everybody resonated. And I think that's where I got that from. Like, I see a Moor on the street, I have no problem, Islam, just out of respect. I may not be a Moor, I see Hebrews, shalom. I see my RBGs, peace, Ali Bafahudi. What's up, black man? And I think, that's how we should be. You don't have to, we don't have to, go in their thing, but let's at least address them in their proper form of respect. Yeah. Because I think we would want that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how you just say he was able to galvanize street thugs, religious folk, elders and youth, just the preppy college man, the average guy who's not into the community, but he's just, I want to learn some information. And I think he was able to bring all of that together and speak. And even like we see on Donahue, he was able to go to white folks and talk to them.
That Donahue, and if you guys have not seen that Donahue interview, my goodness. Man, talking about black, to to the fullest.
And even with all that, he defended himself without causing a scene. He just laid it down with the truth. So I think it's just something we all can learn from him is the truth will stand.
Yeah.
All we have to do is articulate it.
Yeah. And those are the platforms that are designed to cut us off.
Right.
Like they wanted him there to make him look like a fool. You know what I mean? To prove that what he's saying doesn't mean anything. This person is not smart. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just inciting people, you know. And he held it down. I mean, he came out there ready. Books. Notes, everything.
Right.
I mean,
so
yeah.
it's a prime example of us when we know we got the information. We can sit down. I call it doing battle. We can do battle, intellectual battle, and let's see if the truth gonna stand alone.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, which is not wrong, prove me wrong, and I'll go back to the drawing board and I'll be back.
Right.
And that's one thing I take in my approach. Like, people call me anything, but one thing nobody can ever call me is a liar.
Right.
Because I'm not lying.
Right.
And since we're talking about lying, or not lying.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Because there's a lot of lying going on out there.
Whole lot.
We don't know why. Or we know why.
My African.
Yes.
The Who Was Black topic.
Oh, man.
I know you see a lot of rumbling, a lot of things going on about this strong topic that's plaguing our community.
Yeah.
So we're going to close with this.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on the Who Was Black topic?
Yeah, well, first off, to help y'all out before we get into this, it was something that I didn't even think about, okay? And the reason why I didn't think about it is because I wear it every day. I am that every day, so it wasn't even on my mind, to be honest with you. But the Who Is Black thing, I mean, if you want to know how sensitive we are, bring this up in your group. Okay, bring this up in your group and you'll see how sensitive people are. I think that I think it's disrespectful to not let us be what we are. I think that it's disrespectful for people to not acknowledge who they are. And that's why we don't have no clarity on the situation. Like I was explaining before we even came on camera, to the people who have issues with this Who Is Black conversation, we were discussing that if you go back and read Malcolm X's autobiography, Malcolm X talks about his own mother hating the European blood that was in her body. What does that say about her recognition about being black? She fully understands that this is not the same as the man that I married.
Right.
It's not the same. And I think when we get caught in this world of, I don't want to be labeled, no labels, well, I could give you a can without a label in it. It could be yellow. You could think it's lemonade. You could drink it and it could be piss. The label is needed so it could be properly identified. Who is black? That conversation is so we can properly identify, again, who is black, hence who is African.
Right.
You guys are not looking at it properly. You got your emotions involved. I'm speaking solely to the people who are emotional about this conversation. Multiracial is not a bad label. It's not a bad label. We were discussing too. When we were a little bit younger and a little bit more fast behind these ladies and stuff like that, and we asked them, what are you? They come over here looking whatever. What are you? It used to be a thing to tell me quarter Indian, quarter French, Jamaican, black, I'm Creole, I'm this. It used to be a whole mathematical equation to explain who a person was. This was us coming up. That was a part of it. Nobody had no issue. That's a long way of saying multiracial. It was accepted then. Today, we sitting up here and we go to that same black person, supposed now, so-called black person, who is high yellow, the hair is straight, all of this type of stuff. And I will say you are not black in favor of multiracial. Now, in either case right there is no disrespect. That is not disrespectful language at all for me to call you a multiracial. And for you to reference yourself that way, and for me to say that, you're really blowing my mind. But I will say, that we are not in this to be disrespectful. But I think people need to realize how disrespectful it is to us to actually put us in the same category. We're not the same. We're not the same. We go through this entire world with the gay community, the black community, the Asian community now, and all of this stuff where we're supposed to be respecting differences. Clearly, when it gets to us, there's always an issue with respecting our differences. Mm-hmm. What we are. We sit on the melanin thing, we sitting on DNA, we sitting on biologically, we sitting on it being centered. That's what it is. We are more than willing to give you that information. Y'all just too emotional about it. Being multiracial is not a bad thing. But I'm not here to console y'all. I'm here to tell you you're not black.
That's right.
That's what I'm here to tell you.
So let me ask you on this, because as you just said, you know, because when they do come in our groups, you know, sometimes when they come in our ranks, let me say that, we get deemed on the bottom. You know, as a highly melanated brother as yourself, you're just gonna get deemed as a dark-skinned person. You know, and you know, it was so bad, you know, of my internalized issues as a child, because I got teased for looking like an African.
Yeah,
even like the other day, I was at the store, some dude was like, Habesha. I'm like, who the fuck you talking to? But a lot of people assume I'm Ethiopian. But I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm American Negro. I'll take that. Right. But I know what I look like.
Right.
You know, so I used to be called a raccoon by my, you know, so it's like, so it's like we some sick niggas. You know?
Facts. Hey.
So that's why I'm asking, you know, because people say, well, light skinned this. Me and you are sitting right here. In a sense, I can be deemed light skinned. Yeah. You feel me? Right. And I recognize that.
Right.
But my question is, you know, as a brother as you, do you see that when they do come in our ranks, we are just deemed quote unquote angry or dark skinned or jealous? Even though we never said we dislike something about them, but why are we deemed jealous? Why are you deeming us jealous or hateful? You're already telling us that you assume that we think you're better. And it's like, no, we're just saying you're not one of us. And because, like with our black women, it breeds a lot of self-esteem issues with them. That's what I have learned. Yeah. Because what they're already deemed unattractive or ugly because they're dark, and I hate to use dark and light, but because, you know, they're African. Right. So then you got us men chasing after the hybrids or the multiracials, or they're now the new black woman who's natural with curls. Our black women think that they need to be them, and then that's when we get the hair weaves, the skin lightening. So and even with the men, many of us, and I was talking about this morning, but we kind of strapped the time. I ain't even go into this. Yeah. We'll go into another man conversation down the line. Yeah, for sure. But do you notice that a lot of brothers that look like me and you, that's like in the blackity black, do you notice their children are much lighter than them?
Yeah, they going after multiracial women too. You know, they not, but then they'll say, I don't understand how you do that, and then you pro-black. I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's again, you're dealing with truth. What is it? You know what I mean? It has a proper, you know, definition. So if you're not creating a black family, you're not with a black woman. You know, like I said, in my world, it's pretty clear. You know what it is. Then you're just not that. But I think this emotional tie to these people wanting to be us says something about their mentality too. You know what I mean? I mean, because I've had these conversations. You know, look at how do you think it makes me feel to see someone who's like a Colin Kaepernick supposedly fighting for me? Again, I had challenged people. All of these people who are supposedly leading us, they don't look like the victims you're seeing. Right. They don't. You know, we can get into something deeper with George Floyd, but George Floyd does not look like Colin Kaepernick at all. You know, the people who are us who are taking the biggest L's in this, we are highly melanated. We are African people. Right. Like you don't see this with the supposed light-skinned people of our community. You just don't see it. And I think that's not being talked about enough too, you know, because that goes right into this. You're being attacked because you're the black one. Right. You're the African one. Right. It's not this whole other thing. Even with Obama, I would say with Obama, and again, just with the visual, when you talk about a black man, look at me and then look at Obama, and You can't see that there's a difference. That's not when we talk about a black man. When we talked about a black man being president, okay, we're talking about a black man that look like me, look like brother.
Right.
We're not talking about an Obama, and you can clearly see the difference between what I look like and what Obama looks like.
My question would be, if Obama or Kaepernick is a black man, what are we?
Exactly.
Are we the old blacks?
Exactly.
Or are we just some dark niggas?
Exactly.
You know?
and we have to stop with we have to get involved with that conversation in detail, because here's what happens. You have situations like Rachel Dolezal, who is not black at all, but has a little tan to her, does her hair different, takes on that characteristic, and because we take on everything that supposedly halfway looks black, you got her working for an organization that is historically not for us, but at the same time, she's pandering as a black woman, which is the point. And clearly, she turned out to be a whole white woman. This wasn't even a,
right.
You got, your daddy was,
right.
You know, your daddy's not even this. You come from you are a white woman who got off as a black woman. That, for the black community, to me, should be a red flag about how we identify what black is, period.
Right.
So you should not be in your feelings when we had information like this. Even Miss Harris, Kamala Harris, same deal. Just to go back to the labels, man, multiracial is not a bad thing, but we do have to split that difference between what and who is black.
Right.
Because
you brought up a great point, like in a Rachel Donzel or Kamala softly, or more so like Rachel. You're in a position advocating for black people at a black organization. You're getting tenure at a college under guise as a black woman. That's a lot of people understand. These people are taking our jobs and future from us.
Exactly.
And at the same time, they hold the disdain for us. So when we come to the door trying to get help, they don't want to help us, but they'll push their own agenda under the guise of being black. So it's like, you're propagating yourself as a black woman of means who's out here being successful in the community building when you're not even black. We need to have somebody, a black woman, in that position. You know, and that's what our people don't get, that socially, politically, educationally, they are removing us from these spaces. So if you look down the street, I'm in Oakland, a lot of the people on the street that's sleeping in these 10 cities, they look like me and you. Male and female.
Right.
Because it ain't just men, it's women out here too.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree with you, and I thank you for putting that out.
Yeah.
Any closing remarks on the Who is Black?
Just like with Who is Black and any of these other topics that you guys may run across on this page or my page or anywhere else, open yourself up to it, because it's only the truth. And to what Francis Welsing said, for me, all of this stuff is to bring peace on the planet. If we're going to get peace on the planet, we have to deal with the real, and we have to deal with the truth. And this is just one, category of that. So I would say, keep love in your heart. The idea is peace on the planet, man. But, properly identify yourself, man. That's the ultimate respect, for yourself, is to properly identify yourself too. You know what I mean? Know who you are, know what you're about, and then go from there, man. You know what I mean? Just don't lie to yourself.
Right. And then any other black people. So with that, we're going to close out right now. I want to say thank you.
Appreciate it,
for giving me the time and, coming on the platform and, dropping this knowledge and this information about the music.
Appreciate it.
And, touching the Who is Black topic. So before we go, any last words, any place we can find your music? Well, where can we find your music at right now?
I'm on basically all the platforms, all the streaming platforms. You guys know what this is. I go by J Capital. I'm the only one, so wherever you search me, you'll be able to find it. Just look out for new singles that are coming out. I'm on Instagram at JSD702. Other than that, just search J Capital, artist J Capital, and you'll find me there, man. You'll catch me again on this, though.
Oh,
we definitely gonna talk again on this.
And one thing we didn't hit on, you got a photography business.
Yes.
Jinx
Jinx Visions. I do that too. You'll be able to connect to that stuff from my Instagram page, again, JSD702. If you're here locally, I usually try to negotiate with businesses, but if you want to do any type of just portraits, family portraits, business, travel, leisure, doesn't matter. I'm open to all of that. Just give me a holler again. Instagram JSD702, and we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. That's peace. It's another Sane African production. We out here in Vegas with the good brother J Capital. Maturation coming soon.
Worldwide.
You know what it is.
Africa, worldwide.
That's right. Africa for the Africans and abroad.
That's
so with
right.
that, we're gonna say peace.
All right, peace, y'all.